next week. So yes. I'm really very happy, being part of this. And I think this meeting is going to be, as usual, very productive, very useful to each and every one of us. And we are going to also learn quite a number of things in the process. So I want to yield the floor to distinguished Professor Peter Okebukola. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our VC Emeritus, Professor Itokpe Ogunbodede, who is coordinating our project number 3. I want to thank you all most sincerely for, for attending this meeting in spite of all your different engagements. I appreciate all the kind words, all the glory we give to God. This session is to just brainstorm with you on common grounds for the CCMAS book series. What is the meaning of common grounds? We are 17 different disciplines with different scholarly traditions. But if we are going to have a series, then there must be something that will be common to us all, whereby if you picked a book in law, a book in medicine and dentistry, and one in architecture, you'll find some common things there. So there are some agreements that we need to reach. We have reached some, but there are some that just kept popping up that we thought, Professor Ogunbodede and I thought that we could have a meeting like this to take it, to take on the matter. We want to remember Professor Nemi Briggs, who coordinated all these efforts, who was the coordinator for this project, and handed over to Professor Ogunbodede. And please listen to this meeting that happened on the 22nd of March, which was just a few 18 days to when Grandpa passed on.
I know it may be strenuous for him to greet us, Grandpa Sosa. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're not hearing Grandpa properly, but I
was saying
it's better now. It's better now, sir. It's better now. Okay, sir.
I was seeking for that opportunity to thank you, particularly as our chairman, for all the efforts you made and the inquiries and the push and everything, and the prayers I've received from all of you, well wishes and everything. I want to thank you all very, very sincerely. I expect I believe very firmly that sooner than later I'll bounce back and I'll join the group fully. So once again, I'm very, very grateful, and I hope that all is well. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Grandpa will give the report. Grandpa, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Chairman, you remember that we were getting on quite well with our activities in education and also in medicine and dentistry.
Sure.
Before I took ill. Now I know that the progress with respect to education is continuing. Now we had some slowing down with medicine and dentistry, and I had to call Professor Ogunbodede to organize a meeting to try and ginger them up. And I do know that our Facilitator General was also part of that meeting.
Yes, sir.
I've not found out what became the outcome of that meeting to know how the current speed with which activities are going on now. But other than that, many of the 17 disciplines seem to accept that they would do the work. And recently, the Facilitator General came up with the issue of the
general studies and entrepreneurship.
Yes, and entrepreneurship. And we agreed that we should get on with it.
Yes.
So I want to thank him very, very sincerely for it. And then see how we go hereafter. I'm sure he has a lot to add to what I've said. So over to you,
Thank you, Grandpa. Thank you so very much. I want to, on behalf of the entire Nigeria university system, made up of about 2.8 million students, 220 universities and growing, show appreciation to you. I can see, we all can see that you're on the bed. I can see somebody's leg. Maybe that's mommy's leg on the bed there. Is that what I'm saying? Okay. Is that what I'm saying, Grandpa? I can see a leg.
Yes, yes.
Grandma, we salute you and we thank you for Grandma.
She's asleep.
She's asleep. Okay, we thank her. Now, Grandpa is in charge of, is on top of everything. He doesn't rest. He keeps on Professor Ogunbodede. And Professor Ogunbodede, in turn, is doing the best he can. But every second, Grandpa is telling him what is happening, what is happening. I attended the meeting of the medicine and surgery yesterday. You can see the enthusiasm. Grandpa, I want to let you know that meeting was a huge success. Lasted for an hour, 15 minutes or so. All the medical people, they said no shaking. That they all were there. They were there in full force. And the boy, they catch them one by one. Okay, when are you submitting your one? I'm telling you that by today, we should have nothing less than 80%. Nothing less than 80% already in the bag. So by the calendar, by the end of the month, medicine should have its end of March. Medicine should have its first draft out, and that is quite encouraging. Professor Ogunbodede, on your behalf, also convened the meeting of all the other disciplines. And I'm happy to let you know, it was well attended. I'm happy to let you know that there is enthusiasm. Everybody's fired up, not to disappoint you. Everybody's fired up. We didn't get agriculture. We didn't get law. Yes, but all the others, were there. Or represented by some other person. So the thing is moving on quite well. And once again, we thank you, sir, for your leadership and pray for your speedy recovery. That you're even able to join us today is a sign of great things to come. Thank you.
May his soul rest in perfect peace. Next week is the ceremonies that will, thank you, sir, that will lead to the burial. On Tuesday, thank you, sir. On Tuesday, the 16th of May, next week, Tuesday, we have a tribute session for him. Coincidentally, the Professor Idris Abdul Kadir, who was ESNUC for 10 years, also passed on a few days. I think just about a day or two separated them. Grandpa Nimi Briggs died at 79. Professor Idris Abdulkadir died at 78, approaching 79 too. And we are hoping to pay last respect in terms of tributes to them on the 16th. You may wish to note that Emeritus Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Nimi Briggs, set March 16th, way back. He said, look, since the minister will be exiting office May 29, that he will want the minister to launch the NUC-CCMAS books. And so we fixed March 16, way back. And now he's not able to be here, but that's how God wants things to happen. We'll be celebrating him on that day, March 16th. I wish to congratulate all of us on how far we have gone in the development of the NUC-CCMAS book series. It's very, just like our coordinator, Professor Ogunbodede said, It's very amazing. But you see, I keep telling people anywhere I go that there's just no way. When Nigerians say Nigerian professors, Nigerian this, that lie. We are the best, easily the best in Africa. You can't try this in South Africa or anywhere else to say, come and do this thing. It will take forever. But look at the speed that which we've got this thing done. And not only we have this thing called speed and accuracy, speed and quality. I went through the material submitted 1.1 yesterday and up to the early hours of this morning, and I was amazed at what our colleagues have done. This is very praiseworthy. Now, we said all on course except law, but I was able to see our Mama Prof. Miranda Olaride here, and to see Professor Shulanke here. I'm sure that they will move on this day speedily.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Now, we have a sequence in this CCMAS thing that most people are familiar with, but just to recap, it's a 12-step process, Your Excellencies, 12-step process. Step one, which you have all done, is set up by editorial committee. You know, you are at the back of the book, you have general editor, which Baba Rashid, you have the editors and all that, you have some people to join you. Then we lay out the chapters. What's going to be in chapter 1, chapter 2? And then we ring the bell, call for expression of interest. And then step 3 is we then select the contributors based on geopolitical spread. Because when we started this thing, Grandpa Nimibri selected just a handful of people in medicine and dentistry. I would say, no, it's not going to happen like that. Because when a book is out and you have contributors from all over Nigeria, geopolitically well spread, they will regard the book more. But if you just have only some Yoruba people there, only some Igbo people there, only some Hausa, they say that's a Yoruba book, that's a Hausa book, that's an Igbo book. But no, it's so well spread. That's step 3. Then step 4 is to develop the first draft. Everybody that has signed up, develop the draft. Of course, submission acceptance form is part of step 3. So the first draft, you put submit first draft. Let's submit the first draft, which is version 1.0. The editorial team will now collate that draft. When that draft is collated, they will do a plagiarism check. Plagiarism, because we don't want a book to, we agreed on, I think, 20% or 25% on the Turnitin index. You see, Turnitin index is, anyway, I don't have that time now to go through the different editors, because we met on this, they will be telling you what we need to do. Step 7 is very important, because this is scholarly work. It is to be peer reviewed. It's not a question of saying, oh yeah, Professor Musba Akonji is the world's #1 in biochemistry, so whatever he says goes. Yes, if he writes an article, Professor Akonji writes an article to a journal in biochemistry, no matter who they think he is in the thing, they will say subject to peer review. So our own review is unique in the sense that it's a 3-way review. The scholars who are external to the writing team, I don't know which discipline Professor Lucky Odokuma is, but let's assume it is dentistry, medicine and dentistry. So you then send his chapter in medicine and dentistry to others who are medicine and dentistry. Or if maybe it's in medicine, or maybe it is dentistry, we send to somebody external to that team. And then within the medicine and dentistry team, we may have like about 64 contributors. So we do some exchange among ourselves. The last one, and this will run concurrently, is that, the final year students who have gone through that thing before, because this is 400 level, 200 level books. That's a book 1. They will have to be asked, read this thing. Tell us what you will write there. Sorry, I'm using Pidgin English, but just to liven up the environment. What the language level? Is it pitched too high? Are there some issues that you want us to clean up? Are there some things that you find too difficult to understand or comprehend and all of that? So they will have to put in theirs. That's step 7. Step 8 is based on all these materials from the 3 clusters of reviewers. send it back to the send the comments aggregated. I will show you an example of the aggregated material for one that we completed in education. You send it to the chapter author or authors. Say, look, oh, these are what the 3 clusters of reviewers have said about your this thing. Revise these things, please. Revise the chapter, please. The chapter is revised. That revised chapter is version 2.0. No, we're going to version 4. This is just 2.0. So when the 2.0 version comes, the editorial team will now check for compliance. Oh, the student says you should do this. Have you done it? Just like the typical review process in a well-respected journal or well-respected book publisher. So they will then check for whether improvements have been made, corrections have been made by 3 clusters. And what we did in education was to actually do it at the plenary. All contributors were present, and then we took it one by one. It took a lot of time. It took almost like about 7 sessions for us to complete that. So when that is done, we then send it back to the authors to do a second revision based on what we reflected on, and then the revised version now becomes version 3.0. Recall that almost all of us, except education, because we went through a 4-month process, and we are done with the step 12. So it becomes version 3.0. Then that version 3.0 is now subjected to professional editing, copy editing, and becomes version 4.0. And that is what is the published material. Let me share another document which shows the summary of the 3-way reviews for education. Let's take this one by Theodora Olufunke and Madu Barnabas Chidi. 1 minute. So some member of the editorial team will bring the comments from everywhere. So you can see this, strengths as reported by internal, external, and student reviewers. So the chapter addresses issues that are both fundamental and germane to the understanding and all that. Objectives are clearly stated as intended outcomes. The chapter has a central theme and all of that. So these are the strengths. Then the weaknesses are listed. There's an attempt to provide this. The weaknesses are vested and listed here. And all of this must be addressed by the author or authors. Now you can see there are plenty. Plenty. There's suggestions for improvement as reported by internal, external, and student reviewers. See, that's the addition to all the comments that they put in there. Then language level assessed by the students as easy. Student suggestions for improving language level. So the students suggested this. So that's one chapter. This is another chapter. So this will go to each of the chapter authors, and they have to revise. So when they are revised and sent back, we are not just going to take it like that. The editorial team, if we're at plenary, we must look at the thing one by one. That's what, I'm so sorry, I know you know what I'm saying, because that's a typical format, the global best practice in reviewing scholarly papers or chapters in books. So it goes on like that. So let me get back to this. I've just discussed this one. Now we need to build some consensus around the format of the chapter and the contents of the chapter. For the contents of the chapter, I've picked out a few of the specifics. Let's take the chapter format. We have agreed even before people were commissioned on the following, that we have the overview. These are sections that of necessity, whether it's in medicine and dentistry or in agriculture or whatever, must be there. Objectives, topic by topic treatment. And this should be in the sequence of the objectives. And then you have a summary. They have exercises and they have references and this is very brief biodata of the authors. So let me go quickly through this. And what I'm going to do, please, is it's not that the education one is any better than any of the others, but let me just take that as an example, where you have the chapter title and author, the objectives, the illustrations, case studies, references, brief bio data of authors. Please permit me to just share one chapter from, let's see. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this chapter, we've just put it chapter 4. I noticed that when I was looking at the other disciplines, this is not cast in any stone. You can decide to use it in words. So this is chapter FOUR or chapter 44, FORTY, FOUR. But I am proposing that the better practice, and I found that in many of those that are submitted, they use this Arabic numeral, chapter 4, rather than chapter FOUR, chapter 20, rather than this. So we now have the chapter title. As you can see, the chapter title is a sentence case with the first character of a word starting in capitals, except of course like in and they, or any of these prepositions and all of that, or articles. So you can see emerging perspectives in the nobility of teaching as a profession. Now, I found in most of those that were submitted, that's why I say we have to build consensus, so whichever one we like, we should say. So we here, like we find in books and in journals, you don't have or Yaziwo Aluede, Abu Sadi University. The other line, Andrew Adubala, University of this. You say, or Yaziwo Aluede, Abu Sadi University, and this, something as simple and as straightforward as this. In some, we find them listing them like that. I have never seen, because the whole Africa is waiting for this our book. They know, although they whether they fear us or something, but they regard us in very high esteem. Scholars all over Africa. You need to go to the CCMAS site. The download rates from other African countries is unimaginable. And of course, these books will be on that site for people to download and use. So we have to attempt to have a good outing on this. So look at this. Overview, teaching and all of that. And then it has to have, because like an abstract. So you just say this chapter does this, and all of that. This is fine. So you have, that's the overview. And then you have the objectives of the chapter there. And it goes on with all the other things. And as you have noticed here, the subheads are just in sentence case, not necessarily having the first character in capital. But we are different. But let's just agree that the title will be like this, not in capital letters all this way. Something like this is fine. And let's agree that the chapter numbering will be 4 in Arabic numeral rather than in words. And then the authors, something like this. There could be variation, as I said, everywhere, but not to have chapter in one book, you have it as chapter 23 as 2-3. In another book, you have it as chapter TWNTY, then 3. That's even clumsy. All right, so we have objectives. I'll come to that shortly about objectives. I actually sent some document. Let me, if you don't mind, let me just take that document right away. That in writing objectives, is such a technical thing that we may need to remind ourselves. I've sent this, yes, I've sent this document a few times. And if you don't mind, I'm going to resend it after now. Some verbs we should avoid. I saw this in many of the chapters: to understand, to teach, to know, to discuss. So I think, just a minute. Yeah, I think we should avoid this. And the acceptable action verbs, globally acceptable, they are here. There are so many that we have a degree of freedom that is very large. So we can take over to define, to describe, to label, to list, to explain, to express, and all of that. And one thing we should avoid for an objective is only one action verb, not two. The two, we say is double barrel, and that is globally unacceptable. We don't say list and explain and describe, or state and describe. State, that's double barrel for one item on the objective. So it has to be just one. Why this session, in my view, is important, Professor Okumodede, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, is that it will narrow the extent of work by the editors. It will make it very, since we have all, at the end of this session, since we will all collectively agree on whatever it is, then that will help in ensuring that the work that editors will be doing will be minimal. So back to this. Yeah, you have concept of teaching and all of the importance of teaching. Initially, I tell you, when we have a listing, some of our contributors were using Roman numeral. Look at this one. Look at what I'm going to highlight now. Roman numeral. Let me change this to Roman. 1 minute. Let me change this to Roman, excuse me. Yeah. So if you look at the Roman numbering here, we find that it was looking like jaga jaga. I'm sorry to use that word, but it's jaga jaga. That's what it is. But if we use the Arabic numeral, let me undo this. Yeah, it's more straightforward, more well aligned. So we thought that that's a suggestion. If you like in your discipline, you can do whatever. But I think, based on the experiences that we'll be able to glean from here and there, that the Arabic numbering is better than the Roman. Look at this one. By the time you now put the Roman one, you just turn left, it will just be one kind. And even not easy to read. Some people cannot read what X1V is. So the students, 100 level students, it's easy for them to read 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. So this is more relatable to them. The first version, the 1.0 version, when it came back to us, we said nobody in this our education book will have any illustration that is copied from the internet, that is copied from whatever. You know why? We can be in deep trouble. What deep trouble is that? Assume this is the picture of the man who one of the authors of this. He took one picture of one Igbo man there. Hey, because this thing is going to go online, we can be in big trouble. Say, okay, where's the permission? There are some almost like watermark of the owners of the images online. They will tell you that, hey, you didn't write to us for permission to use that image, and they sue us to court. So we told our people, what does it take to, you will see, and in every chapter we must have minimum of 10 images, minimum, and minimum of 3 case studies. What's the meaning of case study? Case studies are not you to teach the thing over the years, profession. Get a case study that relates to your work, that relates to your work and relates to the profession. So, okay, you can see there's a teacher in a classroom displaying something and all of that. The picture we got there before was one Oyibo man that was writing. You mean you cannot get one person, sit down, go in the class and take a snapshot? So we in education are the original owners of all the images, all the illustrations that we have here, all. So look at this one. So this one is owned by the person. So it's not, so you cannot find any image that, okay, fine. So you have a summary You have the exercises, you have the references. Now, let me tell you about the references. We are great in education. That I'm sorry, I just like to see everybody. Let's take Iyitokpe Ogunbodede, a globally renowned professor of dentistry, dental surgery, whatever beautiful specialization, and he's writing some chapter on basic elements of dentistry. And you then end up quoting all these. Yeah, there are some giants in the field that you may not fail to quote, maybe one or two, and then you end up quoting Oyibo people there. You know, that is the danger that we stand in Africa, and that is why the white man. It's not that they are doing, yes, they are doing some more productive research than us, but when we fail, maybe out of envy, we fail to quote scholars in the same field. If I were in dentistry, then I say, okay, if I quoted one John Bull in England, or John or Smith in North America, in US or Canada or so, that yes, that would give him more prestige. Whereas I know that Iyitokpe Ogunbodede next door to me in maybe Lasso is in UI or something, is there, we refuse to quote. So they will get, when you say they are highly cited, that's the reason. Now we are starting, as you probably know, I'm on the board of the Times Higher Education. We're having the sub-Saharan thing next week, next month. I found the trick. Oyibo man, when you send an article to them, say something in history, and then you are citing them plenty. That's what they want to see. If you don't cite them, the editor will say, okay, why did you cite this? I tell you, Oyibo man will not cite you, no matter how giant you are in that field. In dentistry, let's take Cornell or Caltech or Johns Hopkins. The professor there, who knows Ogunbodede as a Jan, will tell his students, undergraduate or masters, quote undergraduate, quote masters, rather than quote Ogunbodede. And we are sitting here quoting them. So that's disenfranchising us. And I'll keep saying this thing until we are wrestled from the jaws of colonialism and mental slavery. So for this, I'll just show this again. So for us in education, we don't agree. We must cite people in Nigeria, in Africa, cite the Oyibo people who are known giants. There are some landmark works in the place that you can't see them. So if you see what we have, see them here. So the request for this common ground is that let us, after all, we are professors. Professor Akonji is professor of biochemistry. So he's writing an article in biochemistry. Is it that he has not done any work there? Yes. And so we also have biodata of authors here, and we have maximum number of words. I think we have, let me see this one. We have this 115. Well, I think we have 120 words maximum to be there. This one is by the Ajiboye. So you can see we have this sequence here. And so you never can find in the education book, you never can find anything that is from anywhere else other than, you can see the 3 pillars of education in Nigeria. The person brought an image before. You mean you cannot draw this one from one internet place? No, you have to draw your own. So they have to draw, you have to draw your own. You have to put these ones are drawn by the authors. But what I found is that the chapters that I looked at in the 12 disciplines that are now ready, they are beautiful, beautiful. Most of them are indigenously developed, and some, okay, we have case studies. We have case studies. So it will be good to have case studies of your work that people have done in there. Case study of first primary school in Nigeria. Before this time, these people here brought some images from the time. Said, go to Badagry and take the picture. If I went to Badagry to take picture, first primary school, the one in northern Nigeria, go and take that one. So nobody, at the end of the day, when they take the data from the internet, now we see that, oh, People don't copy us, they're in trouble. Fire us with one international lawyer. Say, come and pay. You didn't get permission from us. But I tell you, permission, it doesn't come easy. Write to them. It may take like 6 months for you to get that permission. So it's better you get your own thing. Look at the CCMAS Grammar School. It's there for Bariga there. I told you to go and take a picture of the place or send somebody who lives around the place in a lag. Go and take the thing. So that's what we have. I have the biodata there. So chapter 7, that's the way we have it. But as I said, what we are doing is only to agree on some common grounds. We are not saying that all of us will be the same, but let's have the same format and ensure that we. Yes, so I've gone through all of this: objective illustrations, case studies, references, brief biodata of authors. I've gone through this. Let me now show you a few things that I found in the book, in some of the chapters of the 12 that I saw. Look at this one. I mean, is it not possible for the author of this chapter? Most of our universities have this kind of smart boards, even if they were not working. So to sit down and just take a picture from the back, why should you put the Igbo man? Igbo man will never put the picture of a black man in any of their books. So here we have table 9.1, which is good. But you see, we have table 9.1, and this table is not labeled. We should have this table labeled. We should have all the figures labeled. And we do not want to say table 9.1 below or table 1.91 above. Nothing like that. Please avoid above and below and all of that. Just table 9.1 now. Wherever it is, the reader will locate it. And that takes me to, okay, yeah, this is another introduction to architectural design by Mike Adebamo. So this is fine, but it's not, because you need to put introduction to architectural design by Mike Adebamo at the next line, and then the institution. Yeah, I already discussed this chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 in words. I think I'm suggesting that it's better to have it Arabic numbering. Introduction to Set Structure and Organization by Dr. A.B. We don't want title there. And the A.B., we should have what A is, perhaps what B is, or just give B as initial, development of biology, that kind of a thing. Okay. Now, this one, basic concepts, we already discussed it. That it should not be all capitals like this. If it doesn't even look aesthetically appealing. Overview should be in a sentence case with only O as capital. Objectives, the same thing. Yeah, this is quite interesting. What is management? You know, I took some courses in educational management several years ago at the University of Ibadan. And it's the same, this Harold Combs, Henry Fayo, that I've been hearing. No problem with it, no problem with it. But in 2023, for heaven's sake, I was talking about 1970 in the University of Ibadan. 70, 71, when I was doing school there. Henry Fayo. Yes, put Fayo there. But you are a professor of management. Why can't you, over the years, have come up with your own definition and let it reflect here so that your students will quote you? Other African students, other African professors will quote you. So why, according to Peter Drucker, what is all of this? Yes, they can be there, but I didn't see throughout this thing the quote of that person. So, Professor, you be now. Yeah, this is the one I was talking about, Roman number. You can see it's Jaga Jaga, V111. We know it's 8, but you know it's smarter with the Arabic numeral. And then we use a single line spacing. This is like 1.5 or so. And then these are double barrel thing I mentioned. Write and explain. Identify and explain. That's just one. Enumerate and explain. And this is about the thing. I think we should just keep references around the bibliography. And you can see Cole, Jones and George, Hoons and Des, Mullins. We're Nigerian. You are a professor. Let's see. And the other professors in management or in other disciplines. So please, I beg of us, because this is a golden opportunity for us to wrestle ourselves from the jaws of these colonial people. And look, I was looking for in the chapters of management, I was looking for management styles of people like like studies have been conducted on them, like Ambassador Kola was the former UK ambassador.
Christopher
Kolade, exactly. Kolade, I'd like to see them here. Yes, I'd like to see somebody from the north. I'd like to see, look, great managers in the north. We're in 2023, for heaven's sake, 2023. We're not looking at one code, one judge. Please and please, let this book reflect, and we did in education, let it reflect what we as professors have been doing. Let it reflect the new management theories that I imagine from practices. Get somebody from the north, get somebody from the east, get somebody from the west, and let this reflect on the thing. So I've talked about the objectives. Define is good, explain is good, understand is not, describe is good. I put them in blue. No, it's not, understand is not. And then paragraph numbering, we need to, this is a collective decision we have to take. I did suggest to, and it will appear that the editors agreed, that hey, we shouldn't start with this atomistic numbering. 1, 1, 1, 1, or 1, 11, 3, or 2, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 2. Look, let me tell you the answer is going to give to you. In an event, it now goes back to the reviewer. The reviewer says, okay, multiple cropping, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1 for sequence cropping. Oh, why don't you think about one other form of cropping? And then where do you put it? That you come before whatever. So let us maybe wait till the end of putting all these 1, 11, 6, and all of that kind of thing, or even avoid it whatsoever. If I was just checking my UNESCO records, UNESCO reports will not contain all these 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, whatever it is. So we need to reach agreement on whether we want to be atomistic in this or we want to keep it. And then chapter title and author, you can see this one, the thing listed like that. I think as I proposed, if you just go flow along the thing like that. We are not looking at linear cons, we are looking at objectives. It's not at the end of these lectures. The book is not a lecture. The book is at the end of this chapter. You should be able to, and you got this thing well, explain, identify, analyze. Overview, this is good. This chapter, the overview must contain this sentence. This chapter does so and so and so and so, because it's like abstract overview. The objectives have a few things there. State and explain. No, that's be 1. Write and explain. That's be 1. Understand is not correct. Now, look at this image. This is a copyrighted image by Premium Times. If we use this one, when Ogundipe catch us, Premium Times, you know them. They are tough people. They'll just write to the ESNUC, and although we have Professor Shulanke and Mommy Professor Smaranda, they will charge us. You didn't obtain permission from us. So, but what is difficult in this one? For one of the authors to call somebody in the River State University or somewhere and say, "Oh, Port Harcourt, can you take a picture of that?" And we own the picture. In education, we did not copy anybody's picture. Look at this one. Indiscriminate dumping of refuse in Edo State, Nigeria. Oh, look, every corner you turn in Lagos, Ibadan, Kano, everywhere, you find this. So why can't we just take a camera, walk along our street and take this and not particularize it to Edo State or anywhere? You can see source. Why this? Why should the source be this? So that is it from this end. May I suggest that whatever agreements are like that I could do, because quite a number of people are not here. We're just 99 in the room. And like you said, 400 and something. I could do a short video guide that people can go to and then refer to. Very short, maybe 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. So,
in 2000. And then
so
by the time.
Back to you, sir, our Vice Emeritus. We have question and answer now, question and answer session.
Thank you very much, sir. We want to appreciate you as usual, but just to give information that this session is also being recorded, and then that it will be available. So the short video is necessary to complement whatever we have had now. So, but that will also be made available to everybody. Some are already on YouTube, and there are quite a number on the YouTube now. So, but that will be available, sir, in addition to what you have promised to give us. Thank you, sir.
Let me tell you about recording on Zoom. Recording on Zoom will just give you the individual. It's not as, the recording on Zoom is not as educative as a training video, as a short training video. But like you said, to complement it, but you'll find that the training video, they'll find it more helpful than a 1 hour, a 1 hour recording.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know, sir, if I will not be talking too much. So
you are the convener, you are a boss, you can talk.
No, sir, no, sir. So because when you were talking, sir, I just remember that I had a professor in dentistry who came up with what we call the ACUC mandibular block injection technique, because normally you have to open your mouth before we can give injection orally.
I've opened my mouth, but
yes,
I'm not allowed to give the injection. Okay.
Yes, sir. But he invented a technique where you can close your mouth, the closed mouth technique, and you will still give the same injection. And that worked even better than when you open your mouth. So, but then the white people, when they saw it, they didn't know that he was a Nigerian. They thought he was Japanese because of the name. So they adopted it, and when they suddenly realized that I was a Nigerian, they came up with their own, and it became controversial. So they had to join the two names, Vasirani ACUC technique, and they placed Vasirani before ACUC. So, I mean, it can be as bad as that. So I just want to give that example, sir, that you are very correct in terms of the way they do some of these things. So now it's known as Vasirani ACUC technique, but he was the one who came up, and his name was even placed second, and they started propagating that. So all over now, they have not dropped his name, but they have added their own and placed that one before his own. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so the floor is open for some questions or observations. Yeah, apparently none, sir. So maybe I'll just find some time during the course of next week. Professor Kende has his hand up. Our Professor John Pasikene has his hand up. Professor.
Okay, sir. Distinguished General and distinguished audience. My question is that during the course of presentation, on the pages of the chapter, I saw a running title at the base. I feel it will look better if it's on the top of the page, because it's almost eaten into the page numbering, which is centrally located. Yeah, that's just my observation, sir.
All right, sir. I think we can make it discipline specific. Usually, we prefer to have the distance at the bottom. And then if it's interrupting with the page number, you can style it in a way that won't interrupt it. But if your discipline wants it to be on top, why not? But what is important, I didn't talk about footer or header in this one. I only talked about overview, objectives, and all of that. So we have to be distinct by discipline, but common as CCMAS. Yeah. Professor John, sir.
Thank you very much, Facilitator General. You've done very well. The format you have given to us is quite acceptable. I think it's good that we all have a uniform format for the work. I also think that the footer is good for us because we try to put it. However, if another discipline fails otherwise, I think they can go and put their own head. Then another thing, sir, in your statement, you mentioned that acceptance forms have been submitted. In our own discipline, we have not received acceptance form to fill and submit. So may I know, sir, if the forms are still available so that we can collect and fill and return?
God bless you, sir. Professor Ogumodede has is in charge
yes,
of that.
We actually sent out the forms for each of the disciplines to modify, put their own name there, and then give to their authors. So we will send that out once again, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
The chairmanship has actually changed in some cases, so but whatever it is, we will send it out again to everybody. We modified from that of education, and that is what we have been using. So, and I think it's quite comprehensive.
And we're expecting to have you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Professor Luinka,
thank you, sir.
Good. We need to see you, by the way. We have a minimum standard here. If you are talking to us, we need to see. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the format that has been presented. Just one question. I think most of the things you've said are reasonable expectations. It's just the question of some of the images that we may not have authorship for. Will there be possibility to pursue the request for permission to use images that we've taken offline in the event that those are not images that we can obtain ourselves?
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But sir. You see, but you cannot use them until they give you that approval.
Okay, well, so we need to put the machinery of request in place ASAP. Okay, thank you, sir.
Let me tell you my experience though. It would take forever. Forever would be like about 6 months for you to get that. And so the better thing, in my view, except is a do or die affair that you have to use it. So why don't you avoid it or see a way? Can you give an example of a diagram that you cannot get yourself?
It's not a diagram. It's a photograph of video cameras or video tapes that, because we're talking about history here, cinema images, some of the images that were used in the past that we're using as an indication of the history, the evolution, as it were, of technology. That's something that will be hard for us to get.
Yes, that's correct. Let me tell you, because I teach several courses in computing. And when I teach history of computing, there's no way I can get all of those things. So there are some images that are not copyrighted, and you can know them.
Exactly.
And so you use them as long as it's not copyrighted.
Since they're already in the public domain, for instance.
No, it can be the public domain and copyrighted.
That's not, yes, yeah, got you. Public domain, but not copyrighted will be safe.
Exactly, yeah, that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Professor, God bless you, ma'am. Professor Luinka, Professor Shola Ojo.
Thank you, sir. Let me appreciate you for this briefing for this afternoon. Quite educative. One of my issues have been raised by Professor Esson, because we in geology, there are certain photos, images that we don't have, like the planet or sun, but they're the public domain. But we have some other case studies that we have been able to use, but that is clarified now that we can still go ahead to use those ones. The second one is that I want to suggest that, well, if we are adopting some from this general format, I think at the discipline level, we still need to agree on a format so that the discipline is specific and everybody in the discipline can follow that, or at least at the program level.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Professor Shola Ojo, let me address that one quickly. You can't just begin to get your own format. There has to be, it's a series of books. If you look at series, any book that's in a series, you'll find that there is a generic format. So you must not change from overview to objectives to this to that. What I've just shown you, don't change that one. You can do whatever inside the discipline, or maybe give me an example of what you mean. What I'm saying, what I mean is this. I'll just pick up but what I found is that all the documents that have been submitted, they have followed that format, because in the letter commissioning anybody, this format was 1 minute now. Yeah. You have the title, all of the objectives. Sorry, overview. There's overview, the objectives. Hey, not this one. Yeah, this one. Chapter format. You have the overview. You have the objectives. You have the topic by topic treatment in the sequence of the objectives. You have the summary. You have the exercises. You have the references. So which one do you want to change in the level of discipline, Professor Ojo? Nothing.
This is not the problem, sir. But
what is the problem? You say format.
Just before this, then issue of font and size of fonts, that is the issue. But
I've not talked about fonts. Have I talked about fonts here?
That is what we used.
No, hold on, Professor Ojo. Have I talked about font or size of font? I'm not talking about them here now. I've not talked. I never even opened my mouth to talk about that in this my presentation, or even on these slides. No. So thank you. Is that all, Professor Ojo?
That is all, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Professor Raphael Okigbo. You are muted, sir. Professor Helen Obioma Agu.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for the good work.
God bless you, Mama. Can you activate your video so that we can see Professor Helen?
Okay, sir. The mine is on referencing. The references
yes.
From the education one is upper style that is used, but we need to know what the upper style edition.
Oh yeah, thank you,
whether 5th or 6th edition.
Oh no.
So
Education, we agreed that references we decentralize. We completely decentralize. The arts people can take on the referencing that is most common in the arts. The medicine and dentistry will take the one that is most common. Sciences will take the one that is most common. You know why? Because the students in medicine and dentistry, the students in sciences, they want to write something to write their project report or write an article or somewhere, and their book is like their major thing to guide them. So the references must have to be decided by the disciplines. Maybe that's something that Professor Shola Ojo may be referring to, that for the we should have discipline. 1 minute. We should have discipline specific areas like
that is part of it, sir.
References. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Now, Professor Agu, it is the latest edition of, okay, you are not in education, are you?
No, science,
Agri. Oh yeah. So you take the one that's agri. For us in education, the APA that we use is the latest edition. We circulated the manual, the style manual, circulated to everybody, and we were sure that they followed it. So for agriculture, you decide which one is most apt for agriculture. Thank you. Professor Raphael Okigbo, you can take the floor again, sir.
Please, no, my own comment has almost as one just on this diagrams. But I just want to know, based on this format, can we this our program? Can we? Is it compatible? That's my question.
Sorry, I didn't get that one very well. We are running out of time now. It's already 1 hour gone.
In the program, in our this, do we need to put our pictures? Because you show that somebody that put pictures in it.
So sorry, I didn't. You were talking about bibliography. You're talking about pictures. I'm not so sure that I got what you mean.
The authors.
The authors, yes.
Of the authors. Do we need to put photographs of the authors?
Hey, no. We don't put the photographs. We didn't put any photograph in the photograph of the authors. We didn't put it there. No.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So let's take. We're out of time, but we can take very quickly. Professor Amina A.S. Please, quickly, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. My question is, I am yet to actually receive the corrections of my submission. I worked on environmental management 205, which is environmental economics. Yes, I'm yet to receive the correction.
Oh yeah. Oh, good. I'm sure the beautiful work that Professor Kimbogo and the others are doing, they will feed you back on it. This meeting is only for us to agree on common grounds.
Okay.
Common grounds. So which we have done. Brother Suleiman Abdullahi, sorry, time is up. We will take you next time. Back to Professor Ogunbodede to close the meeting.
Well, thank you very much, sir. We actually envisage that there will be quite a number of questions and that people will want to know more about some of these things. So we sent a note to each and everyone that it might take a little bit longer than the normal 1 hour. So we are still very much in order because we indicated that, before this meeting. So, but having said that, sir, I want to say that as usual, we have gained quite a lot at this session, and we look forward to the short video that you have promised us. The video guide, yes, sir, the video guide, so that you have promised us. And I also want to employ each and every one of us that the work is still continuing and that we should not rest on our oars. We should not relax at this point. We should keep the tempo, going so that we can complete it on time and be as relaxed as education discipline is now. But every other discipline now, we still have to work very, very hard to get to the promised land. So I want to thank you, sir, for being part of this, and I want to hand over to you, sir, for the
thank you. I'd like to especially thank Professor Monday Francis, who say Professor John Obasikeme, and everybody, we are under the supreme command of Professor Yutokbe Ogunbodede. We look forward to this, our series of books, being among the very best, not only in Africa, the Oyibo man in Europe, in North America, in Asia must bow. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. The most distinguished professor.
Very much.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And a wonderful.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.